To the chair, you're live on HCAM TV.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. We appreciate it. Okay, at 7 o'clock, we have a quorum, so we'll call the meeting to order. And I have to read the script for the remotely conducted meetings. So I will do that now. Good evening. This is the open meeting of the December 8th Hopkinton Conservation Commission. It's being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth, due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. Excuse me. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we are complying with the executive order that suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Conservation Commission is convening by the Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Additionally, the meeting is also being broadcast live and recorded by HCAM. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast by voice or video may be captured by the recording. Supporting materials that have been provided to the members of the commission for this meeting are available on the town's website. After commission members and staff have discussed each project application on the agenda, the chair will then open the discussion to public comment. Members of the public who wish to speak are asked to identify their name and address. 3 minutes will be afforded for each public comment period. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote of the commission members. And at this time, I'd like to confirm that the members of the commission are present and can hear me. Melissa.
Present.
Terry.
Present.
Jim.
We're not expecting Mr. Cirillo tonight, Jeff.
Okay. Thank you.
He's attending a CPC meeting. He's double booked.
Got it. Ed Harrow, who is coming in now, Anna. Just give him a minute to come online. Ed, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, we're just doing the roll call. Janine
Present.
and Ted.
Just got it.
Okay, very good. Thank you, everyone. So Jim is the only member who is not present tonight. Okay. Okay, Don, just bear with me for a second. Let me bring up my folder for tonight's meeting.
Sure.
Okay, so before we get started, for members of the public who are in the audience tonight on Zoom, we've had a couple last minute cancellations. So the Mastriani property for 0 South Street, which is a notice of intent, has been continued to December 22nd. The Plankton Energy project at 146 East Main Street, which is a request for determination of applicability, that has also been continued to December 22nd. And finally, the Abbott Realty Trust, which is the 25 parcels on Adams Street, Fitch Ave, and Myrtle Ave, which is a notice of intent, has been continued out to January 12th of next year. So if anyone is waiting to hear those applications tonight, they've been postponed. So just
Through
wanna
the
give you
chair?
that. Yep, Don, go ahead.
Also, since I know you're reading the last thing I sent you, we had another cancellation, number 4, has requested a continuation to 12 January 21. I think you can see
Right,
it on
yeah,
the
that's in
screen.
the work session, which is Solon.
No, I'm sorry. If you look at the screen, Claro, 0 Hayden Road, notice of intent.
Oh,
They,
okay,
they
that one's,
just, they just canceled
postponed as
within
well?
past hour and a half or so.
okay, I didn't see that, Don, thank you.
Yep. No, I didn't get a chance to email that out. I'm sorry. The
Okay.
latest.
Okay, so just to echo what Don said, so Claro, 0 Hayden Row, which is a notice of intent, that has also been continued out to the 22nd of December, Don?
That one to January 12th, 2021.
Okay, so that's been, Claro has been continued out to January 12th. Okay. Okay. All right, let me just check the waiting room here. All right, okay. So work session items, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat tonight. DeWolf 28 Lumber Street, the resource area delineation, that's been signed and issued, Don?
You guys would be reviewing it. I've got a draft. So
Yep,
if you guys were amenable with signing it, I'll be able to sign and issue the order of resource area delineation.
okay. So are there any commission members who object to that, or can we finalize that with Don? Any objections?
All good with me.
Okay, I think we're good on that one, Don.
Okay, I'll sign it and get that out.
Okay, thank you. New applications received, Hayes 20 Downey Place, a notice of intent. We are hearing that one tonight.
Through the chair?
Actually, that's a new one, sorry.
Yeah, it's very confusing. Yeah, that's a different one. That's 20 Downey Place. You'll be hearing 16 Downey Street at
Got it.
tonight's meeting.
Okay. I
And both
apologize,
those,
Don. I didn't have time to go through this tonight.
no, and it's very, it's confusing. I
I-
keep getting them mixed up too. So
Yeah,
the 20 Downey Place and the other NOI for 0 Wood Street, we're anticipating that'll be for the next meeting, the 22nd of December.
okay, great, thank you. Okay, draft minutes of October 6th, 2020. Did everyone get a chance to look at those? Any comments or questions from commission members? Okay, if I can get a motion to approve the minutes of October 6th, please.
Ted, so moved.
Ted made the motion in a second.
Second, this is Ed.
Ed made the second. We'll do the roll call vote. Melissa,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Janine,
Aye.
Ted,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Jeff is an aye. Okay, thank you. All right, Don, why don't we just jump right into the public forum, which is the Lake Maspinock
Certainly.
extension request. So I guess due to the extensive rainfall that we've had, the DPW is doing the drawdown, as everyone knows, and they had approval to do that until January 15th. At which point in time, they would have had to raise the level after January 15th up to the 5-foot level. So the extended drawdown was 8 feet. On January 15th, they would have to bring it up to 5 feet. Because of the extensive rain, as well as some work that they're doing on the gate, the DPW is requesting an extension through February 5th. I think that's okay with me, but let me open it up to the other commission members for their comments.
I'm fine with that, Jeff.
No issues.
No
Okay,
problem.
no objections from anyone?
None
Okay.
from me.
All right, very good. Then if I can get a motion to approve the extension request.
Janine, so moved.
Janine made the motion in a second.
Carrie, second.
That was Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie made the second. We'll do the roll call. Melissa,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Janine,
Aye.
Ted,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
And Jeff is an aye. All right. Okay, moving along. So we have Hayes 16 Downey Street. This is a notice of intent to install a lakefront retaining wall. And I just have to read this to open it before we get started. Hopkins Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 8th, 2020 at 7:00 PM virtually online to hear all persons interested in a request for determination of applicability. Oops. This is the wrong one.
I got the current one on the screen, Jeff.
Okay, thanks. To hear all persons interested in a notice of intent filed by Renz Hayes to install a lakefront retaining wall, stairway, and associated site work. The location is 16 Downey Street, Assessors Map R28, Block 150, Lot 0. Okay. All right.
Jeff, we should ask, there was we had some abutters noting irregularities with the notification to abutters form. So we should probably ask the applicant to provide evidence that that was addressed.
Okay, is Mr. Hayes on the line or Mr. Hayes' representative?
I am on the line. Mr. Markinout will be joining us in a minute.
Okay, I think I entered him into the meeting, so he should be with us. Mr. Markinout? Joe, can you hear me?
Hello, I'm here now.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so let's start off with addressing Don's issue with the abutters that he just raised. There was some irregularities apparently that were identified by an abutter. I think we can see that on the screen share here.
Yep. So we had originally notified the abutters on November 13th. Dawn alerted us to irregularities, so we notified the entire group again on the 19th. And I had submitted a affidavit back to Dawn stating that we had re-notified. So everyone's been notified and we've received all the green cards except for 4.
Through the chair?
Yes, Don, go ahead.
Yeah, if we could ask Mr. Markinout to resend that 18th, the second affidavit. I don't think I got that in my email. And if you'd be able to just maybe scan those cards so we can have them for the record, that'd be, you know, after the meeting when he has time, that'd be fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Markinout. Okay. All right, so let's bring up, you want to just give us a quick overview, Mr. Markinout? Before
yep.
His comments.
Yes, Renz and his wife, the board may remember this project. We had filed this project for a single family. We raised the existing dwelling, proposed a new dwelling, 2 driveways, public water, public sewer. And this project is now under construction. This filing, what we have this evening tonight for is a retaining wall against the water's edge. We're looking to, we feel we have a retaining wall. A lot of the stone and debris in some of Matt's pictures, you can kind of see that the wall has fallen into the lake. We're looking not to replace the entire length of property along the lake. We're looking to do 60 feet. Just 2 feet beyond his existing dock, and then going southerly towards the existing trees. So we're looking to install a stone and mortar wall, 18 inches wide, a little bit 4 inches above existing bank elevation, the existing grade that currently exists against the shore. We're gonna utilize the same stone that's fallen into the water. We're gonna do all our activity up above. We're not gonna go into or down on the beach, if you will. The water has receded probably about maybe halfway through that dock. It's probably 10 or so feet off the shore today.
Okay,
And we're gonna maintain our limit of activity to about 6 or 8 feet, no more than 6 or 8 feet off of where the wall is being proposed. We're gonna
okay,
put the face of the wall at estimated high water location. And then, like I said before, utilize the wall and clean up the debris as well by hand. There's a lot of logs and things and sticks that have fallen in. At the same time, we have an old stump that had fallen in, an old tree that had fallen into the water. Back with the previous owner, back in October of 19, Don had issued an order, I guess, to remove that tree but leave the stump. And then on that same letter, they were to cut the 2 pine trees very near adjacent to the existing dock, but not to leave the stump. Not to leave the stumps, cut the tree, but leave the stumps. As part of our notice for this project, we were going to remove the old stump on the southerly end, the big one, and then remove those 2 stumps adjacent to the dock. So we're just looking to kind of replace the existing retaining wall that was once there, trying to utilizing the existing stone.
okay. So by removal of the 2 stumps near the existing dock, are you cutting the tree down to the ground surface and then, grinding it out, or are you actually grubbing it?
Well, the trees have already been cut. The stumps are there. They show up in some of Matt's pictures, number 8 and 9 of Matt's pictures. One more, yep. Yep, and one more. There you go. One more, Dawn.
There's one of them.
There you go. So those are the 2 pine trees. Just to the bottom of the page is the existing dock. Those two pine trees were part of the letter back in October of 19 to be cut, stumps to remain. So those 2 stumps, and then back one picture, Dawn, to number 8. Way in the back, you can kind of see that fallen, kind of a white log there that runs longitudinally towards the water. Behind that, before the tree, is that burly stump that's been there for a while. So those are the 3 that we're going to come out as part of the project anyways, but the wall will be just a little bit in front of these existing trees.
Mm-hmm.
See it, that's the placement of the wall. You can kind of see the old stone and the stone falling into the water.
Okay. So those stumps, are they just gonna be, are you excavating them out, or are you cutting them further down to grade and then just kind of grinding them out so they're at surface level, I guess is the question.
Yep, the one down at the southerly end is already detached, so that's definitely coming out. I guess I would ask Renz to comment on how he's gonna remove the stumps, grind or remove.
We're gonna excavate them out because we're going to need to excavate to stabilize the wall properly.
Okay. Okay. All right, so Lucas Environmental sent you their comments. they're dated today, so I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at them, but there's, a number of things that they identified that weren't provided with the application that the commission will need in order to approve this. So Matt, I don't know if you want to just take a few minutes to kind of walk through the more the comments that are most important to you at this point.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
So I guess the first, maybe somewhat point of contention would be the presence or absence of an existing wall. I don't know if the applicant has any photo documentation of when the wall actually was there, but certainly what's there now, I could see no evidence of a wall. I don't know if the slope may have been riprapped with stone or exactly where that stone came from, if some of that's naturally occurring, or exactly what the situation is. But I would certainly describe the existing conditions of the bank through that area as essentially naturalized. The stone, the roots, the shrubby vegetation that's through there that you can see in the photographs are really providing, a natural condition along that bank, and what I would imagine is probably pretty good wildlife habitat and fisheries habitat along the bank there. So one of the requirements of an application where you have greater than 50 feet of bank disturbance under the Wetlands Protection Act is a requirement for a wildlife habitat evaluation. So that's definitely something that needs to be provided. And that would also be required under the bylaw, I believe, as well.
Mhm.
So it should be submitted demonstrating that the conversion basically of that naturally vegetated bank to a stone retaining wall would not impact the wildlife habitat functions. Or I suppose provide some sort of mitigation to offset if there are in fact impacts.
Yeah, just to interject real quick there, Matt, I would agree with you. It doesn't seem to me that there was a retaining wall that was previously there. It looks to me, based on the pictures, that there was stones placed along the bank there to help, kind of prevent some of the erosion. It doesn't seem to me that there was a wall there at any point, but just a comment. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and again, if the applicant come up with, historic photos, aerial photos, something that demonstrate otherwise, but even so, I think the commission has to go by what the current condition is, just because something may have been there, 50 plus years ago, whenever it may have been. The applicant has to go by the current condition, not what historically it may have been. The application didn't include a waiver request, as again, we're working in a resource area here, bank and potentially in land underwater as well. So I think that's needs to be submitted. And then along with that should be an alternatives analysis demonstrating that, exactly why the work that's being proposed needs to be done in the location that it's proposed. I think those were the main things. Oh, the other thing I guess was, there wasn't a lot of detail on the wall as far as a cross section with regard to, do there need to be footings installed? What are the size of those footings? Information like that.
The erosion
Again,
controls.
Yeah, erosion controls, really just to demonstrate what the full extent of the impacts would be, whether it's just bank, whether it's land underwater, things like that. And then the last comment was, although I believe they have filed an application with Chapter 91 for the dock, I don't believe that application included any discussion of this wall, which would also be jurisdictional under the Chapter 91 program. Again, not Concom jurisdiction, but I guess just a note. So that pretty much covers it from my perspective.
Okay, great. Thank you, Matt. appreciate that. All right, let me open it up to comments from the other commission members at this point, or questions.
This is Ed, the chair.
Yes, Ed.
I think probably Matt's number 5 covers sort of my concern as the resident tree and turtle hugger. When you build a wall like that, it prevents turtles from coming up into the area to lay eggs. And so this probably all falls under what Matt has already called out. But I just want to make that point. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ed.
I have the same concerns as well as more and more people start wanting to build walls around the lake. How is wildlife getting in and out? Yeah, and especially the turtles.
All right, thank you, Janine.
Through the chair.
Yes, Ted.
Just like to say, a year ago, we thought it was important to keep those stumps, presumably for the root systems to hold things in place. I don't think that those stumps have rotted away. I'd like to keep those stumps to hold the earth in place.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think when we initially contemplated this, my recollection at least is that we had requested that the stumps be ground down to grade rather than being grubbed out, just because the root structure of the tree helps to keep the bank in place and to prevent, the soil from eroding into the lake. So that's a good point, Ted.
Chair,
Yep, go ahead, Carrie.
I just think with the proposal for the stumps of excavating them, and then some of Matt's comments about, potential foundation or what excavation needs to be done for that wall, that we should have a very clear understanding of where the temporary disturbance will be, not just the permanent structure, because that will make a big difference.
Yep, good point. Thank you. Okay, any other comments, questions from the commission? All right, I will open it up to comments or questions from the public. And go ahead and feel free to raise your hand if you would like to speak. Let me just scroll through here. Is there anyone from the public who would like to comment?
I would like to comment, if that's okay.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Campbell.
Sure. My name is Mark Campbell. I live at 20 Street. I'm in a butter to the side facing the street. We live on the right side to this property being excavated. I just want to say that the wall structures that exist there, I don't personally have any photographs from 50 years ago. So it's going to be tough to show any evidence of a wall that was there. I can speak for myself saying that our wall is enduring the same crumbling effect, and it's in extreme disrepair. It's hazardous, to anybody who wanders down into that area of our property. But what's more important is that the root structure that's entering the lake and the rocks that have crumbled down, they are a major catch for pollution and things that float by, which I don't know how this stuff works, but it seems to me that would be detrimental to the wildlife, especially things like turtles, where we see all kinds of pollution, including, the 6-pack plastic wrappers and things that wildlife could easily get caught up in. And we've seen a lot of that happen. We've seen a lot of dead fish that arise specifically from pollution that drifts down. Because we're in that inlet toward the road, a lot of stuff comes our way. And these rocks they're jagged, they're disrupting that bank. And I think if we could properly build a wall like Mr. Hayes is presenting, I'm in full support of that, because it's gonna help to me, it seems like it would help the environment in keeping from trapping that pollution and letting it, an area where we can collect it properly and dispose of it properly. So that's just my thoughts. I think, any reconstruction to that area is only going to benefit any wildlife. I don't see how it's possibly going to, help to keep it as it is. So that's just my thoughts.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Okay, do we have any other comments from the public? And I don't see any hands raised if someone would like to speak up.
This is Renz Hayes.
Yes, Mr. Hayes, go ahead.
Hi, good evening all. My thought is putting the wall up is gonna prevent the erosion because the stumps are all going to rot out. I think wood naturally rots out, and correct me if I'm wrong, within 5 to 7 years. Sometimes faster, sometimes not as fast. So by putting the wall up, we're gonna mitigate the erosion in that. And we're only doing, if you're looking from the street down, so it's the left side of my property. We're not touching anything to the right, which is all naturally treed vegetation. All that whole area on that section is very densely wooded, which is more populous for the wildlife. If you look at the pictures, there's no wildlife, I feel, that's going to be in that scrubby area there. And for the turtles to get up those rocks, I find that very difficult. And on the other side, it's open to it. On the right-hand side, looking from the lake at the property where that very large tree is fallen over, we can very easily taper the wall down at that location, or we can actually build a ramp for the turtles to go up if you choose. Because it's all wooded over in that area, and that side over there would be probably more turtle friendly than coming up in that stump area there.
Okay, I think that's good information, and that should be incorporated into the habitat evaluation that Mr. Verrill had indicated.
Well, on that note there too, is a habitat, I mean, you guys can see what's there for common sense wise. If it's under 50 feet, is a habitat required?
If it's under 50 feet, Don, refresh me. I don't think it is required. It's only if it's over 50 feet in length, correct?
Through the, under the act, Matt had quoted, but under the bylaw, the commission can ask for a wildlife habitat.
How do you do a wildlife habitat when the drawdown's happening now, when this is the best time to do the work?
It's an evaluation.
Yeah, so why don't you consult with Mr. Markwood on that, and you can decide if it makes sense. You know, if you want to shorten the wall, we'll have to look at the. I don't have the bylaw in front of me right now. I don't want to take the time to go through it, but
Through the chair?
yes, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, so Don was correct that if it's less than 50 feet under the act, the presumption is that you're not impacting wildlife habitat, although it is 50 feet or 10% on the property, so you still might trigger it. You know, you should read section 10.54 to confirm that. But as Don said, under the bylaw, the commission can request a wildlife habitat evaluation really for, I think, any impact. So it's really a discretionary thing.
Okay.
With regard to the timing of an evaluation, you're evaluating the wildlife habitat. You're not evaluating the wildlife per se. It's not like you're doing a count of how many turtles may be using the area or fisheries, things like that. So having the area open isn't necessarily a bad thing because you can see what's going on really through that whole area of the bank, which might otherwise, when it's full of water, actually be somewhat disguised. So, you know, presumably we'll get 2 feet of snow over it. A qualified wildlife habitat evaluator should be able to prepare an evaluation under the existing condition. And then I'll just make one other note with regard to the question of the stumps rotting out over time. Certainly that will occur, a natural phenomenon. But the idea is as those stumps are decaying, other vegetation is growing in its place. And that new vegetation that's coming in is what then holds the bank in place long-term. And eventually the stump is gone and that new vegetation is in place. And eventually that vegetation may die and other vegetation come in, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, good points, Matt. Thank you. Okay. All right, so Mr. Hayes, you have a little bit more work to do, you know, based on our comments tonight. So We're gonna need to continue this out. And hopefully Mr. Markron has been taking good notes for you on what we're looking for. So our next meeting is December 22nd. The meeting after that is January 12th. So I'll leave it up to you as to when you would like to have the next hearing.
Dave, recommendation?
Probably January 12th.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Markron, if you can just send Don an email requesting that, that would be great.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the other comments I'd like to make is we have no safe access into the lake. And building the retaining wall with a set of stairs gives us access to utilize the recreation of the lake, which is, you know, it is a recreational lake with lots of motorboats, and you have the wakes of the boats going and pounding. And for the erosion control, I feel a wall will justify that too. And along with, there's many walls along the lake, and many of the other homeowners are enjoying the lake with their walls that they've built over the years.
Right. We understand. Unfortunately, a lot of the walls that have been built were built, before the Wetland Protection Act and the bylaw were in place. But having said that, we understand. So we got it.
Matt, could you send me a copy of those regulations that you were quoting so I can look them up and research them, please?
I can do that.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're extended out to January 12th. Thank you, folks. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening. Merry Christmas.
You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Believe it or not, I think that concludes our meeting for the evening.
Don, do we need to read that other hearing notice?
Oh, thank you for saying that. Yeah, we need to actually open and immediately close number 3, Jeff. So let me
Okay. Yeah,
grab
I got
that.
it.
You got it?
Yep, this is the Plankton Energy, correct?
Yes, the RDA, correct.
Yep, okay, let me do that now. The Hopkinton Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 8th, 2020 at 7:00 PM virtually online to hear all persons interested in request for determination of applicability filed by Plankton Energy to install a solar energy canopy system with associated site work. The location is 146 East Main Street, Assessors Map U8, Block 12, Lot 0. And we're extending this out to the 22nd, Don? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay, good. So this is a solar energy canopy system.
Over an existing parking lot.
Like REI in Framingham.
Yeah, no, I got it. Where's 146 East Main, Don?
That's
You
the
call it-
church. That's the
Oh,
community
okay.
church.
Yep, got it. Okay. Faith Community Church, yep. They have that big parking lot in the back there.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Anna, for reminding us. All right. So if I get a motion to adjourn the meeting,
So moved. This is Ed.
and a second, please.
Second, Janine.
Janine seconded, and we'll do the roll call. Melissa. Carrie,
Aye.
Janine,
Aye.
Ted,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Jeff is an aye. All right. Have a good evening, everyone. Carrie, I was disappointed that there were no wreaths this year.
Oh, we had to do everything online.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So it didn't really, the logistics was too much.
Yeah, they didn't want the kids going door to door and selling them and all that good stuff. So they did
Got it.
everything online.
Well, I won't cause any problems, but I have a Boy Scout wreath on my door. I have a bunch of extras in my garage, Jeff, if you need some.
Do you really?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get rid of them.
All right, well, okay, I'll send you an email offline.
Okay.
All right,
There you
okay,
go.
have a
Three
great
little
evening.
scouts
Thank you.
come. Hey, bye-bye.
Bye, take care.